Welcome to another episode of The Brand Called You, a podcast and podcast show that brings you leadership lessons, knowledge, experience, and wisdom from thousands of successful individuals from around the world. I'm your host, Ashutosh Garg, and today I'm delighted and privileged to welcome a very accomplished professional from Gurgaon, India, Saloni Bhardwaj. Saloni, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Ashutosh. What an honor to be here.
Thank you. Saloni is the co-founder and chief transformation officer at the Lotus Petal Foundation. She's a writer, a yoga enthusiast. She's a passionate cook, a loyal friend, and a hippie mom to two beautiful children. So, Saloni, before we start talking about Lotus Petal, tell me about your own journey from journalism to what got you interested in the social sector.
So, I think since I went to an Irish convent, and that pretty much defined a very large part of my formative years. Giving back was a part of our everyday, how we function and what we do. And so I think the quest of wanting to serve and wanting to tell stories of people and individuals that were in difficult conditions, support a situation that could improve, was reasons why I think I wanted to become a journalist. And by the time I hit my 20s, radio and television became quite a thing. So, that I could even deepen my search and deepen my stories to a point through broadcasting. So I think, that's what the quest of taking people's stories out to the world was something that took me to journalism.
And then from journalism to being a co-founder of Lotus Petal, what was that journey about?
So, the more I went into journalism, I wanted to be with my stories. I wanted to be with the people telling the stories, experiencing the stories. And those stories continued to move me and change something inside me. And, I wanted to help them and be with them more in different capacities. Living in England and America, I got the chance to be with my stories even deeper. As I decided to become a volunteer in different capacities, mentoring children from Pakistan or different countries who are trying to stream into the Western world, or work with cancer patients, whatever the situation be, HIV patients. So I realized that that was something which I wanted to be the next level, and just taking the stories and disconnecting with them and taking them to the editing table had lived its life for me, and I really started to enjoy writing and volunteering and spending time with those people. And the deeper I went in spending time and interacting with people, the more I felt that I wanted to touch the real work at the ground level, just touch the life of the beneficiary, as I could say, and, try to formulate and make something so that could actually literally improve their lives and not just tell a story about their life. So I think it was just an evolution of taking it to the next level from me.
Wonderful. So let's talk about the Lotus Petal Foundation. Tell me about the foundation and what was your motivation to get started here?
So, while living in the United States, I was working extensively, rather volunteering extensively for some wonderful nonprofits. And and I was meeting so many people from different parts of the world, and I was traveling and looking at the situations firsthand. And again, there was some kind of transformation happening within me. Some people, some of my friends who are like regular, humble, modest people, teachers, librarian, nurses, when they were contributing to the causes that I was supporting, I was understanding their point of view on where they wanted to their money, how they wanted to help. So, an idea of, I realized two very important things. First was that no matter what, orientation or skin color or gender people were, they responded to human suffering in the same way. And at whatever capacity that they could, they really wanted to help. Like some of my closest friends who live in the Midwest America are Americans and have never traveled to India, and they come from humble homes that they may never be able to travel. No matter what nonprofit I was raising funds for or was bringing to their notice, they were always very willing to contribute and support in whatever capacity. Understanding of people responding to other people was a key thing. And wanting to be a part of that organization. They were jaded with putting money in bigger non-profits, which had overheads that were 85 to 87%, and the money going to the beneficiary was very limited. So the turnover of the non-profit was so high that we never noticed that how little really of their contribution was making it to the beneficiary. So they wanted that, Sal, when you go back to India, have that small charity where I know where my money is going. If we want to send people, they can come and volunteer. So I felt like I became an ambassador of people wanting to touch and feel what I wanted to touch and feel. I started to represent that. So when I moved to India, I got in touch with a very dear old friend who had a small little charity in a shopping arcade. They barely had like 7 children in one program and about 2 dozen in the other program, but was very open to the ideas that I brought forth of making the place very clean, all the registrations, inviting more people to volunteer and spend time, how receipts should go in time and how you should always be in touch with your donors or volunteers. So this kind of came together, and then the partnership of Lotus Petal started in about 2000.
Wonderful. And as this, the rest is history. So fantastic.
Yeah, we are now almost over 1,300 children in 2 campuses in Gurgaon, and we are functioning in about 8 states. And I think about 7,000 children are studying in different programs of Lotus Petal as we speak right now.
Amazing, amazing.
And these are not just numbers. These are not just numbers. These are real faces and real names.
Absolutely, I agree. And I'm been reading about Lotus Petal. I think you guys are doing an amazing amount of work for children, and their children are our future. Absolutely. So Saloni, now let's talk a little bit about the nutrition challenges. I mean, you focus on education and nutrition. Tell me about some of the nutrition challenges children face in our country.
So I'll take this question in 2 parts, how it goes in our country and what we feel about nutrition at Lotus Petal.
Yeah.
Right. India it's a microcosm of many sensibilities, cultures, foods, thoughts and stuff. But I think we are not doing justice to the kind of richness of food and nutrition that we get, for many reasons, whether it's economic or social. And, there are people who don't get food. That is the problem. And the people who get food are not eating the right food. Children, privileged children, the amount of sugar and refined flour and the late nights and the home deliveries. So, I won't spend too much time on this, but we are not in the right place in terms of nutrition. And I think this, we are a ticking time bomb for lifestyle diseases as a nation. That is one big thing. For the underprivileged, I think the most important thing is that there is limited access to good food. There is limited access to storage of food. There is limited knowledge of what is the right food. Problem of consistency in food. When I think a very large population of India eats only boiled rice and salt, or maybe just potatoes, or maybe just the greens that is growing in their little farmland, or maybe just roti or chapatis. So I think that the biggest challenge of malnutrition, wasting, is inadequate supply of food to them, and of course, and the consumption. Coming back to what we do at our little capacity at Lotus Petal is that, we really feel that food comes before education. There is no education to an empty stomach. And there is no education to a body that is not healthy and well nourished. So, we have 2 sets of nutrition, one for the little children, where we feel that there has been a lot of loss and of nutrition, because by the time they come to us, they're almost 4 years of age. Early age, the early childcare nutrition is lost. Some of them, they are born to undernourished moms. So their nutritional supply in their brains and that determines their cognitive and learning abilities is also delayed. So we have a very focused approach towards early childcare and their nutrition. We give them a breakfast which is extremely high in protein, DHA, and fresh fruits, and it is whipped and made in a way, in a slurry that is easy for them to have, to savor it more. It's sweet and nutritious. And across towards our children, we give a meal, we give freshly cooked meals and seasonal. the seasonal produce helps us keep the cost of food low, easier to digest because of the season and how season and bodies approach. And of course, it builds better immunity, which as a result takes care of more learning days for the children, really. They're less at home. So this is what we do at Lotus Petal. And the food that we cook in our kitchens is cooked by the ladies who are also the mothers of our children. So I think there's that kind of nurturing also that goes into our food. Low spice, absolutely boring home food, which is given to them 2 times a day. There is milk, there is fruit. So there is just the kind of food which you and me probably
get
at home.
Well said.
So, and of course, we measure the kilocalorie and protein to see how the children are growing. So if there is some kind of intervention that is required so that, they can amp up their growth with the nutrition, we happily do so.
And one of the things that one reads a lot about is the quality control challenges in midday meals in so many parts of our country. How are you ensuring? One, of course, you said mothers or the children are cooking the food. But, there are a lot of slippages that happen. How are you ensuring this doesn't happen?
So, Ashutosh, we are fastidious. We are absolutely fastidious about hygiene and cleanliness in every corner of our campus, whether it's the toilets, the classroom, and the kitchen, because we want to create this haven for our children where they are able to see what a clean world looks like every single day. So they have an aspiration. Coming to the kitchen, I think it's a very, very sensitive subject. Back in the day, I used to cook in the kitchen myself with the ladies because the moms have their own way of cooking and we had to break out from that, right? So it was very, very important, the moms being the home ladies, they had no formal training in cooking in the commercial kitchen. Our kitchen is FSSAI registered and have quarterly audits. And you will be pleased to know that we do not settle for anything less than an A or an A+ certification. And, a single norm is followed. We have trainings. We have every single item in the checklist ticked when it comes to the hygiene and the upkeep of the kitchen, right from the last wash of the kitchen appliances has to be with a hot water, or how the ladies have to keep their jewelry in the, their lockers before they step into the kitchen, how they have to take hair, nails, and even me, if I have to step into the kitchen even for a short bit, how my apron and hair have to be. So, these simple everyday things are a part of the culture of the ladies who are cooking in the kitchen. But right from procurement, from the vendor who we are selecting, we have a vendor who is probably supplying food to your and my home, but he's so emotionally invested in Lotus Petal that he gives us a good price. So our produce is quality. The storage, the FIFO, the first in, first out concept is applied in our pantry because we have a very small pantry, and by God's grace, the amount of stuff that we have in the kitchen is way higher. So, and we do not have like air conditioning or a cold storage. So, the turnaround has to be quick so that, it's fresh and it's not got any insects or rotting. So we have that. Plus a very tight inventory system is applied. Everything is weighed and measured, everything out. Other than that, I think a lot of culture talk with the team to understand that you're cooking for a very precious group of people, which are our children and who need to definitely get the very best. Plus, we also have a tasting and a testing mechanism set in our SOPs, so that that the taste and the quality is checked, and if something that is found by any team member or any beneficiary or a staff member, RCA is done and things are fixed, and that lesson is learned and implemented instantly. This is it's constant every single day.
And how did you handle, or how did the children handle the challenge during COVID? Because food is something children need every day. And yet everything came to a halt, and I'm told you really managed the midday meals for children extremely well.
Yes, COVID showed us how much more we love our children, really, and how it pained that for 7 or 8 days our kitchen went silent. On 28th March 2020, when we saw all the what was going on with the families and how there were the migrant laborers are walking on the thing. So, we just got together in the hardest times. I won't delve too much into that, but straight shoot into what we really did. So, little kitchen converted into a community kitchen, and we worked with the district administration, and we started to cook almost 2,000 boxed meals every single day. The kitchen was working almost 18 hours in one day, and all the volunteers you see of civil defense and other places who were managing migrant laborers at the station, at the stadiums, because there was a wait list of people waiting in these places on the roads. So, all those volunteers were getting early morning breakfast in our kitchen. And then by midday, they were belting out cooked meals, small boxes. Dedicated spots from where people could pick up food boxes. Our children could, their families, but just anyone could come and pick up food boxes for their families for the day. As the lockdown had eased, we were able to, the parents would come and line up and take cooked meals from our school gates. Ones who lived farther away, we were able to organize dry ration kits for them. So we had a little mechanism where we had a per person quantity derived, and depending on the number of family members, we had like a little, the lentils, rice, masalas, and oil kit ready, and we would just, the parents could take that kit and keep it with them, and that would go on a monthly basis. We would replenish them. We also organized a lot of wonderful donors that we have, Ashutosh, like someone like you, if Ashutosh wanted to help families, so they would just we would step back and just be like mediators. So we would connect you with the family of one of our children, and you could just do a bank transfer. So the gas bills, the electricity bills, and the house bills were also taken care of with the food, because just the raw materials would not be enough. So we took up this whole package, and we also started a new program called Blue Coach, in which the parents had lost their jobs, and there were a lot of our donors who live in Gurgaon who wanted like people to work at home. They were reliable, so income coming. So that way, we could supplement the food in many ways. Cooked meals, dry ration kits, direct money coming, so that you had to top up some meals besides what we were giving, and also an adequate job that could come through a partnership.
Very interesting. So I'm now going to move to another aspect of running a Lotus Petal. I mean, someone who's been in the US, worked in different areas. What would you say is the difference in the leadership style between a commercial organization and an NGO?
Well, I think there has been a lot of discussion on this, whether it's gender and sector and many other things. And, I've, even before you asked this question, I've stepped back and reflected, because a lot of people ask me this, but, I really feel that a leader is a leader. You have to serve. You have to be firm, kind, compassionate, approachable. You should be able to solve problems. You have to be there always. My leadership is just be in the background so that they are empowered, they are enabled, and they can take it head on and always know that I've got their back. So I think this is critical as a leader wherever you go.
So Saloni, you are basically dependent on a lot of volunteers to do work with you. How do you seek accountability from volunteers?
Volunteering is a very, very important part of our organization.
Correct.
Of Lotus. I was a volunteer for 8 straight years before I came to Lotus Petal. And from 2013-14 till 2017, I continued to serve as a volunteer. So, it's very important, volunteers that which we really need from the outside. It's ever freshness. So that is something which we cannot do without. Having said that, I think there are, so, I do feel that they come with that passion. So to say that they lack accountability sometimes is not fair. It's difficult sometimes when they up for Josh say, but with excitement.
Hmm.
But whenever there is some trouble in the volunteer section, I look into it personally to see what is it that is not keeping the volunteer inspired. Maybe they have a problem at home,
right?
Not able to fit into what we have over here. Just to say that you're irresponsible or they are not good for anything,
Sure.
or I expect it's not the right. So first thing we do is we tell the volunteers to start with small commitment. So sometimes they're so excited they want to sign up every weekend, and you tell them like just even if you come twice in a quarter, we are very good for you. That really helps. Giving them a project that they think they can do, and having someone inside the organization who can help them maneuver for a while so that they're able to flow into it easily. And also having a way in which they become ours. They should not feel like an outsider.
Correct.
And team inside organization also that if they come once and they don't come for 6 months, we still have to welcome them with the same enthusiasm, with the same openness, with the same affection, because you don't know what happened. Maybe they really want to do and life got up.
True.
Or maybe they had a sabbatical and they came back to teach and they got overwhelmed in the class. So we try to balance it out like that with more passion.
Well said. And my last question to you, Saloni, and this is for the many, many people who will listen to our conversation. Based on your own learnings from Lotus Petal and your own journey, what would you say are 3 lessons you would want our viewers and listeners to take away?
3 lessons from Lotus Petal or from my journey?
You can take a call.
I think the most important lesson for me is that there is no compromise with discipline and hard work.
Yeah.
I think there is no. I mean, if I have to say 3 things, it's discipline, hard work, and discipline and hard work. Second, all of us have a purpose. And you should not rest till we have not found our purpose.
Yeah.
And when you know it when you found it. So till your belly feels that heat of wanting to find that purpose, just go search for it.
Correct.
Third, once you found it, just know that it's not going to be like as romantic as you thought, and that you're going to change. It's going to be even harder.
Yeah.
It's going to get very, very tough. You're going to fall low and it's going to tank. The best thing at that time is to just stay there in that low and breathe through it, and just know that it will pass. And when it passes, you'll be better and stronger to go to the next level.
Well said. And on that note, and your 3 amazing lessons, which is don't compromise with discipline and hard work. The second one you said is all of us have a purpose. Don't rest till you found it. And the third is once you found your purpose, remember it will not be easy, but persist. Thank you, Saloni, for speaking to me about your own journey, about Lotus Petal Foundation, about all the amazing work that you are doing for nutrition of so many different children. I mean, 1,300 children directly, 8,000 people who are also being affected by you across Lotus Petal locations around the country. Thank you also for speaking to me about leadership and volunteering. Thank you again and good luck.
Thank you so much, Ashutosh.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to the Brand Called You videocast and podcast, a platform that brings you knowledge, experience, and wisdom of hundreds of successful individuals from around the world. Do visit our website www.tbcy.in to watch and listen to the stories of many more individuals. You can also follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search for the Brand Called You.